What's up, guys? It's John at National Sports Entertainment, and we'll do a recap, but I wanted to do a quick recap of our picks. As you can see, we're having a pretty good day. The only ones that finalized, we got the Sixers by exactly the half, of course. So, of course, people probably got clipped on that. That's why I always tell people to take the closing line. So we got that one. Again, when they creep a line up towards the end, then you know we got it. We got the USF under. The Tulsa hit was the only one that didn't come through for us, which again is okay because Louisville came through and Navy came through and the rest of the college games came through. And NBA is coming through tonight. Like I said, the important ones look like Celtics was a leg one, but I can't imagine they blow this lead. Rockets is an important one, and I think they cover. They're looking pretty good. And again, it doesn't mean they're always going to, but just the pace we're on, I'd say we're on a pretty good pace. Exactly what I thought was going to happen with this game happened. They wanted to flash Dame and Ant, and you can see how they did. And they wanted to flash Bane and Ja, and you can see how they did. Not too complicated. I just thought they'd give it to the Blazers. Who knows? Maybe the Grizzlies come back. But we're also working with 4 points or something like that, so I think we're good there. Rockets, we're working with 5 or so. T-Wolves, not looking great, but you never know. A lot of times in the Warriors, I noticed, they'll run away in the fourth, not so much the third, even though last year they were known for the third. So I'm trying to run down these. Here we're right about even. We need 7.5, I think. Yep, so, I mean, we're looking pretty good. And now I want to get into the meat of the matter here. Here we have, now, if you ever heard this guy talk, he's very, he sounds like a politician, okay? He comes off, he's very, corporate sounding, and he comes off and he sounds extremely professional. So we're about to hear my impersonation of Gene Steratore. This is the explanation. By the way, this video was titled...
Just get out of bounds.
And this video is titled, just so you guys know, just going back to the beginning here. This video is actually titled...
This is an insignificant...
CBS head of officiating, Gene Steratore, breaks down Chiefs extra third down. So they lead it off by letting us know he is the CBS head of officiating. That gives him credibility. Now... what I found interesting is the way he presents himself. And maybe you guys will disagree, but he presents himself in a very interesting way that I've never really heard Gene present himself. So let's listen to this.
The offensive holding has become a big microscope on the internet right now. I think it's the hardest thing to call, right? Because you could call it every play if you wanted to. You really could. You could call it every single play. Can you talk a little bit about what they're looking at and if they're scanning or if they're watching individual people or kind of how the whole offensive holding is broken down?
That's a great question. I'll do it real quick in 2 parts.
Yep.
Referee and umpire, both on offensive backfield, split the interior line on the side of the field that they're on. So referee's on the right hand always in the offensive backfield. He works right guard, right tackle. Umpire works center, left guard, left tackle. Sweep away from me. If they sweep left or run wide left with me, I'm working those backside people, looking to the second level to see the blocking on linebackers going to that second level. If it's play side, I work from the inside out, start with the guard, get to the tackle, because my outside official's working from the tight end back in, so we're bookending that play and covering it. Now, relating to the level of how you apply the art of when is it really a hold or when it isn't, that's the art of officiating, right? So, yeah, is there restriction on every play? Yes, there is. Is he holding him within the framework of his body, right? The defense is not outside the frame. He's basically happy to be there while he's just getting jammed, stock blocked and jammed. And now when he tries to get out of that tight restriction, which is fine, right? I'm inside of you. My feet aren't beat. I'm owning you. And now you try to swim move me, get to my edge, and now you restrict me outside of your frame. Now we're in that place where it rose to a level of now, is it a foul or not, right?
Gene, this is the play that's being talked about. Obviously, there's 2 parts to this. Everybody's talking about the holds that are happening. 2 of them before he even starts to run. Left tackle, right guard. Either of these holds, if we're to break down in slow motion, wasn't called live into play.
Yeah. The left tackle play, I think the initial thing, if we watch the initial charts from the left tackle play, the defense comes in hard, then he dips a little bit. It's almost like he's going to attempt a rip, but he doesn't, and the tackle gets on top of him for a second. I wouldn't call that because defense initially put himself there, but then we get engaged. Then we're locked. Now when Patrick starts to roll to the right, now he continues to restrict on that shoulder, which doesn't allow that that defender to kind of get away from that restriction to start pursuing. So to me, in that level, that's when it rose to, okay, now we have a hold, right? But it's at the end. This first dip by 91, that's a dip. Now I got a half rip. Now I'm holding. Now I'm trying to get away, and I had the restriction. Is he going to get there? More than likely not, but he's close enough in proximity of Mahomes at this point right here when he starts to break back to his right, that now that hand outside on the shoulder pad, he's out of the frame. He's trying to now pursue to the defender's left, and that restriction now has elevated to where now, again, slow motion breaking down, he's materially affecting that defender's ability to continue to make the play he should.
How about right guard? How about right guard there?
Give me that one. Let me run it back. I'll break it down for you without my bifocals right now.
Atta baby, Gino.
And look, it looks like half rip, and then he's starting to ride. See, if the defender put himself in that rip and just starts to ride while he's got pressure on the inside of that tackle, unless he can really beat his feet, and you'll watch if you roll back to the beginning of what appears to be a rip. Right now, go ahead forward. When you see the dip now, okay, defender, you put that right arm of that offensive player around you. He didn't go hook you around the neck, right? Okay, but you better beat him now and get ahead of him. Get north to the quarterback for me to then say the guy got to drop. Right about there is when it does occur. So it's kind of in that blended mode right there, right? So in that world we live. And really then, these are the mental snapshots when you're in the game and watch that play maybe happen 10 times this game. You and that umpire need to know what you have called, what you have allowed, and for players and coaches and for the game, you have to be on the same page to know we're letting that go today.
And now
we're calling that today.
Hey, fourth quarter,
right?
14 seconds left, too. That's a big time. And a lot of people get pissed off about a ref making any call there. Like, hey, let the players decide whether or not this is. Swallow the whistle is what you hear a lot of players say. Like, let the players do the thing. But then at the end of the play here, Gene, end of the play obviously becomes the late hit heard round, literally the world. He was clearly out of bounds. Have to call this, Gene?
Got to call it. Yeah, got to call it, Pat. This is 2 feet in the white. Look, Osaz is hustling, right? You guys know how quick this occurs, but at this point, this isn't one of those tiptoes, a tiptoe, and right before his foot hits the white, he gets blown up. 1, 2, boom, I'm finishing you. It has to be called. That's just a foul. That's a foul the first play of the game. It's a foul the last play of the game. That's where that play has to live.
Yeah, his right foot's out, left foot out. Well, they said he's hovering. He's not necessarily there. It's like, and he's a quarterback, you know? Is there
look, the one that used to bother me a little bit, not bother me, that was hard for me, and it's with the younger quarterbacks, the Lamar Jacksons, my day, Michael Vicks, those ones, Cam. They would start up the sideline, right? And then try to get that extra 1 more yard as they go north and south, and we don't know if he's in or out, and now all of a sudden that foot just hits in the white and he gets blown up. I wouldn't call that. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to, get out of bounds. This is an insignificant yard. Don't be tight-roping here, and then your foot just hits the white and you get blown up. And you want me to what now? Protect that. No, go out of bounds. Leave the yard for the next down. Don't put me in that box. I'm not protecting you there. That would deter, hopefully, right, the quarterback the next time you got to that place to go, I got no love about 3 minutes ago it hurt. I'm just going to go out. Made my life a little easier then.
Gene, right? You're also very vocal with everybody and communicating with everybody, which I think is a massive part of the whole managing the game, which some guys can't do.
All right, so there we go. And again, not to be the I told you so guy, but this is literally what we predicted. We said they would blame the officiating. Gene kind of caved a little bit. Yeah, that could have been a hold, but it's in live time. And then, of course, they go to this, which is what I've brought up a million times. They were going to have something besides the officiating so they could just go to that and say, yep, that's a foul no matter what. And everybody has to agree that's a foul. So that's why he did it. And that's why I was showing these pictures. I find it interesting, T.Y. Hill. Look how he's standing. Almost like he was told to be in a particular position. It's almost like he's blocking the guy off. And then you see the perfect sell by Patrick. Right here's a good example. His right foot is about to be out of bounds. Nobody in their right mind would pursue this man and hit him. Knowing he's Patrick Mahomes, and it's not like I see Gene trying to spin it. There was no possible way Mahomes was going to turn this into an extra yard. Again, even in fast motion, it was just horrible selling. He was way out of bounds. And that's why Osai, this fake injury, that did not happen. Pat would have got way more messed up if you look at what happened. Because he got blasted. He sold it well. He really didn't get pushed that hard, but he sold it like he got destroyed. And here's the fake crying. Oh yeah, I can see real tears. You can see it all right there. There's the evidence because his head's down and he's got his hands together. That means he must be crying. Right here, yep. This means he must be crying. Where are the tears? I see his bandana literally pulled over his eyes. Who does that? Why not just get anywhere where the camera's not? To me, this is the most ridiculous proof, quote proof, that somebody actually was crying. And then you can see what I also found interesting. The guy that was just standing there just happens to be the guy that hugs Mahomes after the game, because he was part of the play. And they brought up Hilton a few times for a reason. Pat did. So you can see here. And what I was bringing about Gene, I didn't know Gene was from the streets. That's pretty cool. Because he's talking like somebody that, that's like part of the life there. He's almost talking like someone in the mafia. I've never heard him talk like that. Now, I understand you might talk a little differently when you are in a professional setting. But he's like, yeah, you rip me, you give me mine, I give you yours. This guy is not talking like an official. It sounds like he's trying to talk like a common person. That way he can kind of come off almost cool. Where, again, it's just forced. You can watch the video, of course. They show the play, and they try and, of course, highlight this late hit because it was indeed a late hit. It was scripted, but it was a late hit. But they don't really, again, they don't address anything. It's a pretty nothing burger video where they just basically have him come on, and instead of in his puppet way, this time it's more in a, where he's trying to talk like an actual person, but he's overdoing it. Like he's almost trying an accent, it seems like, that's not working. And yeah, I think this is more proof that again, it's rigged. They had to call on Gene Steratore. Again, they might as well call on Roger Goodell. I don't know how out of touch Pat McAfee or his puppet masters are, but to me, this is just laughable. So yeah, again, I don't think they'll have many more. I already went over Hendon Hooker. There was a few others that I found interesting. I don't remember exactly. Let's see. It was the Tua one. We predicted that. We predicted they would go into the injuries and why they're so important. But you can see how they're just wedged in between all these NFL rigged. And then in the same breath, they literally throw in our face how Tom Brady is going to get an offer for $375 million to be in the box. Why would they want him to be in the box? Again, I think it's because they need somebody who knows how to cheat and knows how to run a script. And then, yeah, you could just see, again, the Tua narrative being pushed, and they're trying to mock us with the Arian Foster one. And there's a reason the Arian Foster one got by far the most views. It's because people don't care about Sean Payton or any of these other things. People know it's rigged, and that's why these are the ones getting the views. So, yeah, I do find it quite interesting, and, Pat's not here for the views, I'll tell you that right now. None of these controlled opposition channels are here for the views. They're here to disrupt the movement. And they're trying their hardest, they're trying their darndest, but it's not going to work because too many people are ratioing them. So I am curious to see what they put out next. But our picks are looking good. Let's go check our picks. Let's see if our NBA picks held. The Blazers, I'm hoping they held. I think they should have. Yeah, Blazers held, so we got them. Got the Sixers. Raptors close. Spurs close. Warriors going to be pulling away. We might not get that one. We're working with some points here, so I think we might get this one. We got 6 points. Like I said, Rockets terrible against the spread. And Celtics looking really good. So we're having a good night. And as I said, in college, outside of Tulsa, we had a really good night as well. We were able to close USF. We were able to close Navy. And we were able to close a leg 3 Louisville. So again, 75% in college, 100% yesterday, 7 of our last 8. It's not a coincidence. These metrics work. That's why I put them where I do. The Rockets, again, I don't often go NBA leg 3s, but I like this one. And like I said with the Suns, it's still 9:45, so I'll watch. I'm probably going to wind up plugging in a leg 2 for the or leg 3 for the Suns, because I'll look at the games that we have open and what are the odds that we hit. Like the Raptors are down 12, we got the Spurs down 5, we got a couple teams down, so it's perfectly safe now. And again, it doesn't matter where you plug it in for, right? I'm just going to assume of these games that the Wolves have the least chance of covering. And again, it doesn't mean that it has to be for the Wolves. I just want to get them locked in as a leg 3. And again, even if the Wolves are to win, the system is still the same, okay? Because we still have other games that are open, such as we can delete this now because we're playing it, such as the Raptors leg 1, Spurs leg 1, and they might not hit. So that those two add up essentially to a leg 2. So I go deeper into the money management aspect, but yes, the Hawks are now a leg 3. And like I said earlier, if we were losing games, I was going to make them a leg 3. So that's what we're going to do. Blazers, we finished that one out, so that's a leg 2. Like I said, really good night so far, and I think we finished strong. But I'm curious your guys' opinion on Mr. Gene Steratore. I thought he sounded quite different. Okay, the Celtics is officially a win now. Okay, cool. And I thought Steratore sounded quite interesting. He didn't sound like his normal self. Almost like when the politicians try and act like the people and like they just come off really out of touch. That's kind of the vibe I got. So let's hope the Rockets, hold for us. Like I said, all we need is them to cover here. And I think they do. Let's look at the quarters. That's always revealing. So we got the first quarter tied the second. They got the third. All right. A lot of times they like to even it out. So I like our chances on this game as well. So that's really it. Like I said, I don't expect much more out of Pat just because I think they covered most of what they have to cover. And now they're moving on to the injuries. They'll probably have the rigged Super Bowl. They'll run it again when everybody says it's rigged because it is. And like I said, I've been assessed in that for a while, and I'm going to go into that probably tomorrow. And I'll see your guys' opinion on why I think the Chiefs might be a red herring. I could be wrong, but I just have a feeling based off of what Pat's been saying. So take care, everybody. Oh, is this 12-2? Oh, guys. I was going to say, I'm going to watch this article. Somebody said his Brady's speech was extremely emotional and stuff, so I want to see how realistic it sounded. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.